Welcome, everyone. Welcome. I'm so excited that you're here today. I'm excited that I'm here today because it's been a while since I've recorded. I've been having, when I tell you the devil is real, the devil has really been trying to keep me from making videos and recording, but I am a trooper, a patriot. I will not stop. I will figure it out. And I've had some help. Somebody sent me some information to check out Riverside to see if that would be helpful. So this is my first time testing it out. Well, I played a little around with it, but this is my first time actually attempting a video at it. So hopefully everything will go well. I'm excited about all of the things that I'm seeing that I could do with this. Like I could really turn this into an actual podcast where I can have guests and, really do this thing. So that's probably why the devil has been strategically trying to disassemble me with my faith and everything else. But God is able, God is real, God is true, and I am, one of God's babies. And so he's going to take care of me and provide me everything that I need to fight the enemy. So we're fighting the enemy today with this setup. This is Riverside, and that's what I'm using right now to make my video. But this video is not about all that. This video is just about letting y'all know I have been really busy on the ground, even though I haven't been able to upload anything. So I'm going to be playing catch up at some point. But with my existence here and my life here is that there's always something every day. So like I'm backed up with so much footage, but yet life keep happening and things keep happening, events keep happening. There's so much happening. I haven't even talked about Trump DeSantis, but we're going to cover a little bit of that today. So today's video is more of a recording of myself being interviewed on the Officer Tatum's, I was going to say the Officer Tatum store, but the Officer Tatum radio show. So I was at the National Broadcasters Association a couple of weeks ago. They were here, and I was privileged to be able to go for a couple of days. And I was able to get interviewed by Carl Jackson, who was sitting in for the Officer Tatum. And so that was really, really exciting. So I'm going to play that clip. It's an audio clip, so you'll be able to hear our conversation and how all of that went. So without further ado, we talked a little bit. We talked a little culture is what we talked about. So we talked a little bit of Trump and DeSantis because that was around when DeSantis decided to get in. I'm going to digress. I'm not even going to jump in now. I'm just going to digress. So he did ask me that question, Trump or DeSantis, and you'll see how I answered it. So without further ado, I'm going to let you hear me, AmaniaSaluste, the conservative poet, having an interview with the one and only Carl Jackson on the Officer Tatum radio program.
That it is, whether it's Trump, whether it's DeSantis, who you would like to see as a vice presidential pick, feel free to do that. Or maybe you're a Nikki Haley fan. Maybe you're a Tim Scott fan. Maybe you think I'm totally wrong when it comes to Tim Scott and Nikki Haley. Again, I don't dislike them, but Nikki Haley, I would frankly never vote for her in the primary. If she were to become the nominee, I would vote for her. But frankly, I feel the same about Tim Scott. And again, I think he's a great guy. I think he's a great Christian guy. There's no doubt about it. But in my opinion, his senatorial record is lackluster, and I really did not like the police reform during the Black Lives Matter riots. That scares me. I don't want the federal government involved in policing. So as soon as I hear that, I'm like, it doesn't sound like a guy that'll get rid of the FBI to me. So I take pause with that. But I do want to introduce a guest that I have here. Her name is AmaniaSaluste. All right, and she's a political consultant. She happens to be conservative and Christian. Amania, I want to I want to do this before we tackle into some of the conservative or before some of the issues. I want to play an audio clip for you, and I want to get your response to it. You may have heard the news that the NAACP issued a travel advisory to the state of Florida saying that black people should not come to the state of Florida because Governor Ron DeSantis is hostile to black people. So I want you to hear this audio clip. I want you to take it in, and then I want to hear your take on it.
Okay.
All right.
Claiming that
She sounds
Florida is
ready.
unsafe is a total farce. I mean, are you kidding me? You look at cities around this country, they are awash in crime. In Florida, our crime rate is at a 50-year low. You look at the top 25 cities for crime in America, Florida does not have a single one amongst the top 25. And if you look at cities like Baltimore and Chicago, you got kids more likely to get shot than to receive a first-class education. Yet I don't see the NAACP batting an eye about all the outrage and the carnage that's happening in those areas. So this is a political stunt. These left-wing groups have been doing it for many, many years. And at the end of the day, what they're doing is colluding with legacy media to try to manufacture a narrative. Now, the good news is fewer and fewer Americans are gullible enough to believe this dribble. And platforms like Twitter are there where people can debunk these lies in real time. And I would just say, as an American citizen, if you are uncritically accepting narratives spun by legacy media and left-wing groups, you're failing at your job of being a conscientious citizen.
Okay, so let me get your opinion on that, Amania. I'm speaking to AmaniaSaluste. She's a political consultant, and I'm going to be talking to you about a campaign that's happening locally. It happens to be with another black female conservative. Amania, are you scared to live in the state of Florida under Governor Ron DeSantis?
No, Carl, no. I'm not afraid to live in Florida. I don't even know where that comes from. It doesn't make any sense to me. Who's afraid to live in Florida?
I know. You know what's funny is, so I originally came from Los Angeles. I was born and raised in Los Angeles. I moved to Florida a long time ago now. But what's crazy to me is California always felt more segregated. I don't think as much now when I go back, but always felt more segregated to me than Florida. I came to Florida, and I was shocked at how many different races lived by, or ethnicities lived by each other. Blacks, whites, Puerto Ricans. I'm like, if there's a definition of true diversity, if you will, Florida is it.
I agree.
It's insane.
I agree. I mean, we have so many different people in this area, and especially in the area that I am in Orlando. You find all kinds of different people, and people are thriving here, and blacks are thriving here. There's opportunity here, and so I just don't understand or see how these people can say that blacks don't have a chance here in Florida under Governor DeSantis.
All right, so now, Amania, you're Christian and you happen to be a conservative. What's
Yes.
wrong with you?
Oh, I must be insane because they say we don't exist. They say, black women or us blacks, we shouldn't be conservative or we don't exist. But I exist, and I have, a candidate who exists. She's black, and we're both conservative, and we're right here in Florida, and there's nobody coming for us here. We live a happy life here in Florida, and so, yeah. Black conservative women, yes.
I do want to talk to you. She now, again, I'm speaking to AmaniaSaluste, and she happens to be a Christian and conservative, and obviously we're both black here, so she's not afraid to live in the state of Florida, but she's a political consultant. She's helping out a woman by the name of Belinda Ford that's running for a local District 40 here in Orlando. But here's the thing about Belinda Ford, black female conservative, but she also runs a crisis pregnancy center for minority women.
Yes. So Belinda has two pregnancy centers. One of them is in Winter Garden, and another one is in Pine Hills, in the middle of the district that she's running for. And she's been there. She's been helping black women. She's been saving babies' lives for a really long time. She's saved so many babies' lives, and she is a force in the community for life.
So yes, black conservative woman fighting for black babies and black lives.
Let me ask you this, just as a Christian, are you have you followed at all the issue with Target and the clothing that they're putting out for? Okay, so basically Target, as of late, and they've lost $9 billion up to this point, but Target has been targeting, if you will, young children into this basic sexual perversion, this nonsense. They have bathing suits where men can basically tuck their junk, excuse my language, and pretend like they're women, but they're also selling this type of stuff to kids. What's your take on that?
It's insanity. It's demonic for these people to think that they can do this to children. We need to do what's happening with Budweiser needs to happen with Target. We need to stand up and boycott Target because what they're doing is wrong. And we as conservative people should start standing up and say, no, you know what? I don't want a Target. I'm not going to Target anymore. I'm going to go somewhere else. I'm going to spend my money elsewhere because these people are trying to take out our children through this nonsense.
Yeah, and it's starting to happen. Thank God. I from what I read, I'll check through the headlines during the break. But from what I read as well, Target is literally down about $9 million in market cap. So people are starting to give Target the Bud Light treatment, and I think we should continue to do so. Do you think Christians should be involved in this type of stuff, boycotting, or is this a place we shouldn't enter?
No. Christians need to be at the forefront because this is who we are. We are supposed to stand up for the kingdom. We're supposed to stand up for what's right. And if Christians don't stand up for children, who's going to do it? Yes, Christians should be involved. They should be out there doing this because that's the right thing to do.
Man, good stuff. You told me you do a blog, or did I hear you correctly?
I have a podcast. Okay. I have a channel on YouTube. It's called The Conservative Poet. Okay. And there I talk about political things, cultural things, and everything that we're talking about right now. So The Conservative Poet, it started out as a spoken word channel, but because the cultural stuff is so important, I kind of moved away from just spoken word, and now I cover cultural conversations.
Do you think that when you consider some of the cultural battles that we're fighting, the whole issue with trans, the DEI, the CRT in schools, do you think the left has been able to progress and be so aggressive because Christians have just sat back? Why do you think this is happening?
I think that Christians have sat back, when things were happening and they pretend that they didn't see it, they didn't know about it, and then they let, certain things go through, and then again you're going to give them a finger and they're going to take your whole arm. So now we're facing these things where they're castrating children, where,
it's insane.
They're castrating children and they tell you, oh, it's good for you. I mean, this is the definition of insanity.
It is, and it's scary too, because you think about these kids and literally, when they grow up, their minds are going to change.
And it'll be too late because they've done things to their body that can't be changed. They cut off their parts, they removed their uterus, they removed their breast, and
We'll be back.
When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we'll see.
Unapologetically Christian and 1000% real. The Officer Tatum Show.
All right, welcome back to the Officer Tatum Show. Guys, I want to talk to you about the Angel Tree Campaign, Prison Fellowship's Angel Tree Campaign. I want to thank everyone who has already joined the Officer Tatum's campaign to help send children of prisoners, kids with a mom or dad in prison, for a life-changing week at Angel Tree Camp. They went to the OfficerTatum.com and made a generous gift of $200, which sends one child to camp for an entire week. But right now, I want to speak to you. Maybe you've heard Officer Tatum's appeals, but you can't spare $200 right now. That's okay. And today is the day I want to invite you to join us with a gift in any amount you can give, whether it's $5, $22, $50, whatever you can afford to give right now, will be combined with other listeners' gifts. And each time we hit $200, another child's life will be changed. As Don from Angel Tree tells us, every single dollar has the power to literally transform a child.
Personalize that. The little bit that you give, if we all give something, we are better together. If every single one right now, even if you are impacted in some stretch, the more that you give, the more you receive. I always say you can't outgive God. So you give without knowing where it's going to go. Just pay it forward and see the results, see the blessings that God will bring back into your life.
Let's transform the lives of as many boys and girls as we can by sending them to Angel Tree Camp this summer. Your gift of any amount helps send a deserving boy or girl away from hot inner cities and gangs and off to camp for an entire week. Just go to theofficertatum.com and click on the Angel Tree Camp banner, or you can phone your donation to 888-206-2763. That's 888-206-2763. It's a safe place for children of prisoners to experience the great outdoors, make new friends, and hear the gospel. Once more, just go to theofficertatum.com and click on the Angel Tree Camp banner to help change a child's life for eternity. Again, just real quick, I'm with my guest, AmaniaSaluste, and she's a political consultant. She didn't even share this with me, guys. She just busted out during a break. You worked with Black Voices for Trump.
Yes, for the 2020 cycle. It was an amazing experience. Nico Carroll, he ran the office that was located in Pine Hills, actually. And it was a great space. I really wish that they had kept it open and continued the work of bringing the community together and just being a force to, after the election to really bring people in.
That's a good point.
Yeah, but they closed it down like 2 days after the election was done. So that was a shame. But yes, Black Voices for Trump, and we did a lot there.
All right, so now for those of you, because Amania has mentioned Pine Hills a couple of times. Well, out here, Pine Hills is, some people call it Crime Hills, all right? So it's predominantly black and minority, lots of Puerto Ricans as well, but a lot of blacks, and it's kind of the, would you call it an inner city? Somewhat?
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
All right, so somewhat of an inner city. I remember when I first moved out to Florida, I lived in Pine Hills for several years, but I had come from Long Beach and Compton, so I was like, this ain't that bad. But it has gotten worse.
Oh man, it has gotten worse. Just on Easter Sunday, they had 2 shootings in that area. Easter Sunday, 7 people were shot, including children in Pine Hills, and nobody's out there protesting about that. So that really gets to me.
They don't care when the black people are shot by
other blacks. No, it's only when it's the police or somebody else. And I'm just like looking for Benjamin Crump and Al Sharpton and all of them to come and have a say here when you have 7 people on Easter Sunday, including children, shot and killed, and nobody's out here doing anything.
No money to be made.
Yes, no money to be made.
It's so
You're
sad.
right.
All right, so again, Amania, tell people where they can go to find you if they want to hear what you have to say. And again, check out,
you can find me at The Conservative Poet. That's my YouTube channel. And on Twitter, AmaniaSaluste. And I'm on Instagram as well. But The Conservative Poet is where I am. And that's my channel.
Okay, so now, DeSantis or Trump for you?
Trump all day. All day, Donald J. Trump.
She didn't even hesitate. You guys saw that. She said, what did you tell me during the break? You said this is
Trump country. We love Governor DeSantis. He's done some great things for Florida, but this is Trump country. Florida is Trump country, and I'm Trump all day.
Would you vote for Governor DeSantis were he to win the nomination?
If he were to win, then of course I'd put these things to the side, and yes, if he were to win the primary, yes, of course I'd get on board. But for right now,
I love that.
I'm not doing nothing. I'm not putting a sign in. I'm not ringing a doorbell. I'm all the way Trump.
All right, I love that. I love that. Look, listen. Well, tell you what. How much time do we have before the break? All right, so we still have a few minutes before the break. I want to get your take on. You know what? Let me get your take on this.
Okay.
The Los Angeles Dodgers deserve the Bud Light treatment. Have you heard about this? The Dodgers are inviting the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence to participate. It's a radical LGBT organization. Thank you, Forgotten Man, whose drag members mock Catholicism by dressing up as so-called queer and trans nuns. And now the Dodgers, my former team, are inviting them to participate in an event on June 16th. What do you think about, sports and all of these corporations just bowing down to this craziness, this demonic, satanic, sick, perverted people?
You know, it's really, really disgusting. I remember I saw somebody had a video out. Back in the day, Bud Light used to make commercials. They used to use men dressing up as women, but it was the opposite.
It was a mock.
It was a mock,
Yeah.
you know, and those videos have kind of resurfaced. I think it was my boy Benny, the Benny Show. He had that on. And I was just like, wow, they used to do that, and now look at that. They totally turned it around, because now they're accepting it. Before it was like mocking, but now it's acceptable. It just shows you, you know, everything is upside down. We are in Looney Tunesville. It's insanity.
Yeah, it is. It's absolutely crazy where we've come. I'm so glad that there are Christians like yourself that are standing up. I know people we're black Christians and we're conservatives. Listen, I think we're called to be Christian first. And obviously, wherever God puts us to do work, God has put you in Pine Hills in the community to do work there. As well as Belinda Ford, who's running for District 40. So I'll make sure that I tweet out some stuff if you guys want to help her out. But we've got liberals in these areas, black liberals that aren't doing a doggone thing to really help the community, in my opinion. And so hopefully Belinda Ford could take it home.
Yeah, we're gonna do this thing, because Pine Hills and the District 40 area has been let down by their leaders. We have not had a Republican woman in years. I mean, she's the first in this area. So we're going to make history in Pine Hills and District 40.
All right. AmaniaSaluste. Appreciate you joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, that was fun. All right, we'll be back. Carl Jackson in for the Officer Tatum.